people can change their environment to change what DNA or genes that they are activating in their right now moment. Or they can change the food that they eat, which will change the outcome of how they're thinking, and get different responses. So if let's go to, so a good example that she used was the ant. Have you heard of the ant and the grasshopper story? Okay, so the ant and grasshopper. So the ant was preparing food for all winter, and the ant was going back and forth preparing food to a place. He was getting food and going back to his hole, getting food, going back to his hole, preparing for winter. The grasshopper was playing all the time. Grasshopper playing. Grasshopper not taking nothing seriously. He just eating for the moment, not taking nothing home. Okay? So when winter came, the grasshopper had no food. The ant had a lot of food. So she said that there's people like this. Okay? People are like this. There's ant people and grasshopper people. So if you're an ant person, then you're going to take a little bit at a time for whatever you need. Whether it's food for winter or whether it's learning a little bit at a time. Grasshopper is going to take everything in that moment and not save none for later. So she was saying that when you have like candy in the house and you said you was going to save a little bit for save some and you end up eating it all, you're more like a grasshopper person or an ant person. I don't really remember which part, but the concept is when you live in a modern day world where everything's accessible and abundant, you got to know when to stop. Okay, so you don't go to obesity. Okay, or you don't go into addiction. Those type of things. When you just have things at the tip of your fingers. So understanding who you are helps you understand how to create an environment where you don't overindulge yourself in anything. So, and you see that in your DNA. You see those type of habits in your genetics. Okay, in the way that you work. So yes, some people literally create an environment of themselves where they can just be in an overeating situation or overstimulate situation just because of their environment.
Oh, the environment got the same stuff to them?
Yeah. Because you got to think back to tribal times, okay? We're thinking back to human times where people was living in tents, okay? So you always want to go back to your ancestors, anthropology. People, you was hunter or gathering, okay? One or the other. And your environment determined whether you was going to eat a lot or not eat a lot, okay? And so we moved accordingly. Okay, if it was no food in that area, we migrated. Okay, everybody migrated. You had to physically move. If it was lots of food in the area, you were staying there for a while. So naturally, you wouldn't have food in one area for a whole entire year because everything goes through seasons. So it wouldn't be the same food in that spot for winter, spring, fall, and summer. The foods would change. And if the foods wasn't for you, then of course you would move. If there was no food, you would move. So that's why I said, yes, the environment plays a part. Because when the seasons change, you put on a jacket.